I'm very much sure that we are done with inventory items, and maybe now we should be going to inventory assets, which I said that is the same with that of the inventory item. And for that reason, I'm going to skip it and move straight away to customers. Are we together? I can't see any chat on my page actually. Okay, let me open the chat page and keep it somewhere here. Okay. Okay, good. Now, so what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to continue from a customer, how to set up customer. That's where I'm going to continue from. I want to assume that, like I said, that the inventory items and the inventory assets, they are alike, they are the same. It's just few things that make difference. So in brief, I'm going to open up the inventory assets for you just to see how it looks like, but I'm not going to do anything there. 10. Okay, so the motion will come down. The video is not playing either. Okay, so let me go back to the QuickBooks. While I close this page and open up QuickBooks accounting package, I will quickly dash into the list. And this time around, I'm not going to item list. I will go to fixed item list, which I said, this one is meant for those things that you use to run your business, those assets that you use to run your business. That's what it's meant for. All the other commands that we have been using from the day we started, they are still applicable. What do I mean by that? Control N for new, Control D for delete, Control E for edit, or you can come down to under item here. You can choose new, you can choose edit, you can choose delete at the same time. But when you open it for a new one, Control N to create a new one, you can see that it's almost the same thing like that of the item. The only difference is, instead of that one asking you the income account and the cost of goods sold account, this one will not ask you all those things. What it's going to ask you actually is to give the system the name of the asset and the assets account. As it is now, if we have, for instance, office equipment, it means it's going to be under office equipment cost. Like we have Picano now, if we want to register this Picano, it means any cost that will go to Picano should go to under Picano generator ICB cost. We are not going to play with the accumulative depreciation here. It's basically the cost. While getting our cost, then we now calculate the accumulated depreciation for the year. The net book value will take care of itself from the children. Just like we said, at any time, for any reason, you don't key in anything into the mother, the children will take care of their mother. It's like that. We advise you should copy and paste the password and okay, not me. Okay, let me keep moving. I'm going to close this page and assume that we have treated the inventory asset as we have it here. This one, I will assume that we have treated it. So I'm going to move on now to the next one, which is the customers. What are we doing under customers? Basically 5 6 things. Number one is add or / editing customer. Then number two is add / edit job. Then number three is making customer inactive, deleting the customer. Then you can as well bring them in multiples. Okay, let me switch back to the page and see how we can put that into action. So this time around, look at the top menu that I have here. I actually have a button called customer there. I'm going to click on the customer. Then this time around, I'm going to choose customer center. Are we following? Can somebody chat me that we are following? Hello?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So as it is now, when we are on customer page, let me take this away slightly and maybe probably hide this one as well so that we can have a better screen. So as we have the customer here, the only thing we need to do to add new customer is to right click on the customer. I'm going to create an instance that we have a customer called University of Benin. Let's assume that they do give us contracts, for example. So I'm going to create a customer now. It's going to be University of Benin. So there are a few ways I can do it. I can use Ctrl N to create a new one as usual. I can as well come to the top here as it is, click on it and choose new customer. If I don't want to do that, I can as well on my view here and choose new customer. Whichever way is easier for you. Just make sure that you are creating a new customer. So when you are creating a new customer like this, what is important here is actually the customer's name. If customer have balances, I will advise that you don't key in customer balances from this point. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm telling you that it could not be a best practice, because ordinarily you want to watch your converted trial balance, your balance sheet of at the end of the year that you converted to trial balance. You want to watch it and make sure that all your debtors, which are your customers this time, all your debtors are analyzed. So if you only want to do that, the best way for you to key in the customer balances is to go through Make General Journal. So from here now, I'm going to create Uniben, which is University of Benin. This University of Benin, they do give my company contracts. So at this point, I'm going to save this transaction, this record. If I have another thing I want to say, maybe the same thing, unit name, company name is University of Benin, then we'll say payment settings. If I need to know anything about them, maybe the account details, the payment terms that we agree, and all those information, if they are important to me, I will key them in. The sales start settings, they are important to me, I will key them. Additional information, maybe like customer type, if they are important to me, I will as well key them in. The job, this is as well important to me, I'm going to key them in. But for this purpose, I'm going to save this customer as just University of Benin. Excuse me. And then I will click on save. Now, there's a point I'm bringing out from this. What is that point? The point I'm bringing out from this thing I'm showing you is that this customer, as we have University of Benin, for every contract they give me, I want to track this contract that they give me. In this case, I'm going to deal with not only customer this time around, but at the same time, I'm going to deal with customer's job. Customer's job. Are we together? Okay.
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay, so let's go. So at this point, I want to add job to the University of Benin. Let's say, for instance, University of Benin, they have given my organization the supply of 1,000 chairs, supply of 1,000 chairs into their 500, into their 1,000 capacity all theater. For instance, instead of me to use this same University of Benin, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is to create a job under University of Benin so that I'll be able to track everything that has to do with University of Benin under their name. So at this point, I'm going to right click on University of Benin. And this time around, I'm going to choose add job. Which job are they giving us first? The job they are giving us now is actually supply of say 1,000 chairs. Supply of 1,000 chairs. This is the job they are giving us now. So at this point, this is important to me. I'm going to save it, and you will observe that under University of Benin, we have the supply of 1,000 chairs beneath it. So if tomorrow, University of Benin should give me the construction of 500 all capacity, if tomorrow, University of Benin should give me the construction of 500 all capacity, I will as well right click on University of Benin and I will say add job. But this time around, it's going to be what? Construction of 500 capacity all. capacity all theater. This is what it's going to be. At this point, I'm satisfied with what I'm seeing. I don't need the phone number and the rest. Other details, they are not important to me. I save it like this. Then you will be seeing at the same time that under University of Benin, we have first job, which is supply of 1,000 capacity, 1,000 chairs. And we have the second one, which is a construction of 500 capacity all theater. So everything that has to do with University of Benin, I can line them up under the name University of Benin. So at any point in time, I can actually track how much I have spent on every job that I'm doing for them. It's easier. Just right click on it. After right clicking, then you can choose quick report on 500 or whatever theater. If I click on quick report, at this glance, I'm going to see what has happened between me and them. But unfortunately, we don't have any information here right now. By the time we keep working on our sales and the purchase, you will see how we can put this to effect. So I'm going to close this page by pressing escape on my keyboard. So this is how you can actually create a new customer, and under the customer, you can actually create job under the customer. Now look at this. There's another one here called transaction. This one, you can use it to track transactions that belong to a particular customer. Look at this now, sales order. Under the sales order, we have what's it called? We have AZ Nigeria Limited. We have Unwanko. If you click on invoice, you will see the name that we have under invoice if there is any. Let me choose all if you can see anything at all instead of using fiscal year. Okay, if I choose all, you can see all the invoices raised on behalf of all these customers. If I choose statement charge, if it is there as well, you will as well see them. Payment that we receive, and I don't want to consider only fiscal year, let me choose all. Then you can see all the people that we have collected money from so far, and so on like that. So let me go back to the place we were, which is the customer and job, which you analyze to us the position of our customer and the kind of job we are doing for them. Let's say, for instance, I click on Adewale Limited. I'm clicking on Adewale Limited. I want to see all transactions, not for fiscal year, but for all. Nothing. Oh, okay, let's try this. Okay, this one asks. I can from here see all the things that has happened between myself and AYZ Limited. I can dig it give from here by double clicking on it so that I'll be able to know what actually happened for that transaction. Then immediately I double click on it, I should see the source of that something like form that generated that particular item. I'm going to press escape from here and keep moving. Now, what other things can you enjoy playing with your customer list? Let's say, for instance, I am afraid that keeping my invoice manually or customers documents, keeping them manually might give me issue. I might decide to scan all of them. And after scanning them, I use a resizer software to reduce the size of those scanned documents into a very smaller size. Then after doing this, I have the capability using Quickbooks accounting software to click on this particular customer, for instance, AYZ Limited. Then after clicking on it, I'm going to click on attach. Then from here, every important document about this AY Limited, I can actually attach them to its name, whether by do a direct scanning, by looking into my document, or click on Doc Center to bring in the document and as an attachment. I'm going to demonstrate one for us, but I'm going to use my computer. So looking at my computer from this end, I have clicked on it, it's rolling up. Then from my computer, let me go to my desktop whether I can see anything I can pick. Okay, from my desktop, I am assuming that this chart of account Excel sheet is a document from AYZ Limited that I have scanned. Then the moment I click on it, I choose open. Then at that point in time, this particular file will be attached for this guy have it in mind that it is better for you to resize all your documents so as to reduce the size of your application. If you don't resize it and it's too big, definitely your database size will as well be getting bigger as you are moving on in your business. So it's better for you to make sure that you first of all compress it. It's possible. If you don't want to compress it, resize the scanned document to the minimum size. Then thereafter, you can bring it in as an attached document. The moment I finish, okay, let me add one more so that you will know that you can actually add as many as you wish to the customer's attachment page. Can I see any other one? Okay, I think I have this rec. So I'm going to open this as well. Then you will see that it's as well there sitting down. If I click done, I have it there till Jesus comes. As long as this application is being backed up on a daily basis, all my files will keep backed up with it as well. But like I said, try as much as possible to reduce the size of your document so as to reduce the size of your database. Okay, if we have successfully looked into how we can add customer, the other one is how can you edit it? It's very simple. If you are here on Adewale and you want to edit Adewale details, just click on this pencil and choose edit. It will give you the privilege to edit it. I'm going to press escape on my keyboard. That is one way. The other way to do edit is for you to double click on the name. It will still open the same place, edit for you. If you don't want to do that, you still use your Control E. You can as well do your edit. Similarly, all these things I have done, you can as well repeat the same thing for the delete. If I want to delete, I'll just right click on it and choose delete customer's job. The moment I do that, to ask me whether I want to delete it, but I'm not going to delete it for now. Have it in mind that if there is something inside, if a customer has history, you cannot actually delete that customer. What can you do? You can just make the customer job inactive. You can make it inactive. But because it has history, you will not be able to delete it. So just all those things we have learned from the previous pages, previous area, they are still as well applicable into this one as well. One more thing I need to show you is the one I have shown you before concerning the multiple item list, how you can bring in multiple items. You can do the same thing for customers. If you are using a particular software before and you are able to export your customers into Excel sheets and you want to bring them into these new QuickBooks you are using, or you just add them in Excel sheets and you felt that they should come in, I'm not going to repeat it for you. I will only show you how to get there. How do you get to that place? What you need to do is to right click anywhere on your customers list, then look for add/edit multiple customers job. Then the moment you click on it, it will open up a page for you where you can actually add as many as possible customers. You can from this end switch to vendor as well. You can see vendor is there. If it's not vendor, a service is there. If it is not service, inventory part is there, and so on like that. But for this period, we are dealing with customer. I'm going to leave it as customer. Then if you want to bring in new ones, what do? Just come to the last bottom, the last thing that is written, the next line to it, go there, go to your Excel sheet, copy all these row cells you are bringing in as names, then come back to this place and use Control V to paste it there. You do the same thing for the company name, you do the same thing for their first name if they have it, or any other information you think you want to fill. The moment you do this, you click on Save Changes, then you are done. I'm not going to do it for you again. I believe that you must have followed up for the first time, so there's no point wasting our time there. So next to that, we have looked into the job, we have looked into the customer, we have looked into the make account inactive, delete customer, and the other one, which is the last one. Then the last one I added, I think, is the attachment, which you have learned in the next for the past few minutes. So let's look into the next one, which is our vendor. Are we following? Do you have the class?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay, good. So let's keep moving. I'm trying to look at that okay. Okay. Okay, yes. Thank you for following. So let's keep moving. Next to that is actually our vendor. is our vendor. Look at it. After the customer, we have the vendor. Let me be sincere with you that just all the things we have put to practice under our vendor, under our customer is still applicable to our vendor as well. So there might not be any reason for us to waste much of our time playing with the vendor. But what we are going to do, let's open it. Let's open the vendor. How do you get to the vendor? Very simple. Just the way you have your customer at the top menu, you as well have your vendor next to it. So I'm going to click on vendor, then vendor center. By the time you know how to get to the vendor, I want to assume that you do not have any other problem anymore. The reason is because everything that we have done under customer is as well applicable to vendor. This time around, this is our vendor page. And like I said, everything you have there is applicable to that other one too. This is vendor information. You can use Control-N to create a new one and so on like that. Then at this point, if you have any vendor that is having details, let me choose all, then you can see the vendor's details on this page. If you double click on any one of them, it will definitely take you to where that transaction was entered. I will press escape on my keyboard to leave that page and come back to the vendor center. Under the vendor as well, you can have the mother and children relationship. You can have a, can you do that? Yes, I believe. No. So that the vendor is basically the name of the vendor that you can play with. I'm not sure you can have a sub vendor using this interface. But notwithstanding, have it in mind that what you are playing with here, what you are playing with here is actually all the things we have done before from the previous page. The only difference is that this one is not a customer, it's a vendor. I will move on to the next one so that we can do something reasonable today. By next time, the next class we are meeting, we will enter detail into this main operation. Then they will have enough time for question and answer. Okay, so I want to assume that we have looked into the vendor as well. So before we move on, there is one thing I want you to understand, because this time around, we are supposed to enter our opening balance. The woman that we asked to send us, to get for us the audited account that has a balance sheet we can convert into trial balance to prepare our opening balance is the woman in the class. Can you chat me? You are in the class. Hello.
You remember her name, sir? You remember her name?
Is the woman in the class? Okay, good. That I am happy you are. So let us have what you have so that we can look into these, what's it called? Entering the opening balances. So what you are going to do for us is that you will give us the details of that information in a trial balance form. 2 areas will give you more difficulties. Just 2 areas. They will give you more difficulties. What are those 2 areas? Sorry, 3 areas. The area of stock, the area of customers, and the area of vendor. Why would they give you difficulties? All these 3 areas, they need breakdown. You have to break each vendor's balances down using the name of the vendor. You have to break all the customers' balances down knowing the name of the customers. You have to break your inventory down, know the way it is being grouped. If it is not grouped, then it's not a problem as well. We can just say the inventory value, 1 million naira, no problem. But in the case of customer and vendor, it is good for us to know the position of everybody we are owing so that we'll be able to play with them. But before I go into that, while our madam is trying to come up with these figures for us, let me quickly discuss with you what is this double entry system. There is a golden rule of double entry which says every debit entry must have a corresponding credit entry or vice versa. If you don't know this rule, you cannot play with us with this next stage we are going to. But if you know this rule, of course, you are good to go. So the golden rule of double entry says every credit entry must have a corresponding debit credit entry or vice versa. And this is where you actually do with your make general journal. And it is this make general journal that we are going to use to actually key in our opening balances. Is there any way we can get from this woman, this is our woman, the opening balances as she has it? Is there any way? Can I mute this woman to talk? Abu?
Mr. Kuye, can you unmute Delight?
Can somebody help me to unmute her?
Mr. Kuye, are you there? Hold on.
She should unmute herself now. I've allowed her, so she should just
Okay.
unmute herself.
Okay, she has been
Delight
allowed to
Anthony,
unmute
you can
herself.
unmute yourself. Delight Anthony, you can unmute yourself, please. I guess she might not be where her phone is now. I guess so.
Okay, Delight Anthony, Abi. Can somebody help me to unmute her?
No, we have unmuted her. It's left for her to unmute herself from her end.
Okay, can she do that, please? Delight Anthony, please. Okay, if she cannot give us this information, can anybody give us any short trial balance as much as it can be small so that we do not waste our time from this at this point? Can anybody give us, can anybody come up with a trial balance as small as it can be so that we will be able to quickly leave this place and go to another place?
Okay. Do you mean to state the items in the trial balance?
Can you speak loud? Can you speak loud, please?
Do you mean to state the items in the trial balance or to just give you the figures?
It is left for you, okay, between me and you, let us treat the debit side first, then later we'll treat the credit side. Do you have such information?
Okay, let us see from the participant. Well, if none, I can easily look
okay,
at
from the participant, do we have anybody that has such information? A trial
I think
balance?
Delight has unmuted herself. Delight Anthony.
Okay, she has done that.
You
Okay,
can talk now.
you can talk, Delight, please. Hello, Delight. Let me check the chat. Okay. I think she has admitted about that. I don't know whether she does not want to talk. If you can get any other person from the participants who can actually give us the opening balances in a trial balance form, balance sheet form, trial balance form, please, the person should come up with something. If there is none, then Madam here can give us. Nobody's giving us. Hello. Hello.
Ajia Wasila, are you giving us anyone?
Okay, let me
Let's Madam give us one then.
Yes, let me come up with one. I have one as a sample. Let me quickly.
Okay, please give us that sample, and
okay,
let it be as short as possible.
Yes,
maybe like few items on the credit side, few items on the debit side. Then
yes.
We have it there. We keep moving.
Okay, let me quickly retrieve it. Just give me like 2 seconds. Let me retrieve it from so that
it's all right. It's all right. We are good.
Mr. Kuye, the light has a complaint, please. Please check from your end, Mr. Kuye.
Yeah, I'm seeing that I've allowed her. She's maybe remove permission. I'll allow it again. Let Anthony. Allow to talk. It's just for her to unmute. Delight, I've allowed you to talk again. You will see a message on you saying you shall allow you to unmute.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, let me state the figures now. Let me call it, and I'll state the figures as well.
Okay, so madam, what you have to do for me first, eh?
Okay.
Number one, you have to speak very loud. My speaker is not very loud.
Okay.
So you have to speak very loud. That's
Okay.
the first thing you will do for me.
Okay.
Then, secondly, you have to follow me the way I'm going. So what we want to do now is that we want to play with the information according to what madam is giving us. Is there any possibility that you share it with me as well, or you will dictate for me?
Okay, let me try to see if I can just share it. So that you said just short one. So what I have is just short one.
Yes.
On the debit side is just 4 items.
That's
and on
good.
the side is just 3 items.
Okay,
so
good. If that is the case, you start from the first one. Let's focus on debit side first.
Okay, the debit side, we have cash of 520,000.
Okay, good. Wait, hold on. Okay, so madam is giving us information for our first opening balances that we want to use in this application. These opening balances must at any time be zero, as in the two sides must agreed, meaning our opening balance equity must be zero. So what I'm going to do before we start at all, I'll press Ctrl A to go to my chart of accounts. Then from my chart of accounts, is there any way I can minimize this thing? Okay. Then from my chart of accounts, I'm going to locate opening balance equity. If it is not zero, we're not going to use this one. But if it is zero, yes, we are going to use it. You can see that as at present, opening balance equity is showing so much. So what we can do, let me nil it. Or alternatively, we just create a new company very quickly. Create a new company very quickly. Then we'll use this new company to bring in our opening balances, so that you will see how your business should look like when you start for the first time, when you're bringing in things for the first time. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me close this and create a new company from an existing company file, and it's going to be from this one. The company name for the new one is going to be Learning 2. Learning 2. Then I'm going to create it, but it's going to use the existing one that we are using. Then it's going to save it here for us. So with that, we should have a blank data to take us to, okay, the password is this. Okay, so it's trying to restructure my data for me. So while it's doing that, madam, do we have debtors and creditors in that your opening balances?
No.
No, we don't have it.
Want it? We can. I think it's something that Mr. Kuye can easily create that one for us.
No, the reason why I'm asking if you have, is so that you'll be able to split them maybe like in two names. Vendor A, vendor B, customer A, customer B.
Balance quickly and do that.
Ma?
Maybe I should draft another trial balance quickly and do.
No. It's not compulsory. I'm just only asking if there is anyone there. If there's no one there, let us play with what we have. That 7 is okay. 4, 3. So that we'll be able to move out of this place and go to another place.
Okay.
It's better for us. Then in the presence of people asking questions, we'll be able to tackle more things. That's where I see it. So this one is loading. Then after loading, what we need to do is to go to accountant or company so that we can open our make general journal. Okay, it's placing the new company now. So let us give this few time to complete the information.
Hello?
Ma?
We only have one creditor. We don't have debtor. We only have one creditor.
Okay, you only have one creditor. And that creditor is just one person.
Yes.
It's okay. We just need identity. In case you now have many, you have to identify all of them. So as it is that we have only one, it means we only identify that particular person. That's all. So it's okay, ma.
Should I continue or you are?
No, can you see my screen?
Yes.
I'm trying to create a new company so that we will have a blank database. So that by the time we finish this, our opening balances, you will see how the trial balance will look like on the system, on a fresh system. Are you getting my point?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Better. So that if you are breaking, let's say for instance, now you are trying to configure this thing for a particular organization and you just finished your installation, you have done with your configuration, you want to do your setup. This area we are doing now, we call it part of our setup. So you want to be your setup and bring in your opening balances. You have brought in all their customers' name, the vendors' name they are in, the list of items they sell they are in, the list of assets they are in. Then the next thing is that what is our opening balances? Then they give it to you. Once they give it to you, this thing we want to do now is the next thing you will do the moment you have it. Then the moment you are able to key in these opening balances for them, the next thing is that you will now guide them on how to be keying in from there on their own. We have sales. How do we key it in? Vendor is we are paying vendor. How do we pay it in? Good is coming from vendor. How do we handle it? We want to pay salary. That is when you will now continue your normal daily activities. So let's give this thing a few minutes to load. Then after loading, we can look into how we can bring in our opening balances. But in the meantime, I'm seeing 3 questions here. So while it's loading, let me quickly tackle these 3 questions. The first question says, if I prepare book of account for clients, how can QuickBooks be a great benefit to me? Preparing several financial statements for financial reports for different clients. Yes, it can be beneficial to you if you are using the application. If the customer you are preparing an account for, Josephine, are you with me? Can Josephine hear me? Is Josephine in this class? Can I see I from Josephine? No. Just a chat from Josephine. I. Thank you, Josephine. So I'm answering your question now, saying that you can actually use it for your client. If your client is using the same QuickBooks, they are lucky, you are lucky. It makes the work easier for you. But if they are not using it, they only give you the raw data to play with, then it is your responsibility as their accountant, their auditor, to create account for them on your own QuickBooks. Then key in all their data. Then use it to generate your P&L account and balance sheet. Then from there, if you are using accountant edition, there's something called statement writer. You can use statement writer to as well prepare all necessary written aspects like an auditor's report, like this guy's director's report. You can use statement writer to prepare all those ones within the application. So of course, it's going to be of beneficial to you. There's one thing I will show you. If I forget, remind me that I said I want to show you something under app that will tell you the area you're supposed to cover when you are playing with your QuickBooks. Just remind me that once it's finished loading. The next question says, How do you move inventory from one location to the other? Maybe a branch or sister company, and which is better to do? To attach price or just move the inventory without cost? Remember, if you attach the price, it goes to sales / turnover for the period. Okay, good. As far as this is concerned, as far as this your question is concerned, Jacob Ajidwa, are you on ground? Is Jacob there? Can I see your eye, Jacob? He's not there. Jacob is not here. Okay, we can't have Jacob, but notwithstanding, let me explain to you what you're supposed to do. Like I told you the other time, this QuickBooks software, they have another edition called Advanced Inventory Edition. Advanced Inventory Edition. So if you can afford to buy it, this is the type you will need to do multi-location inventory management. So with that, in most cases, if you are transferring to another location, you use your own cost, the company general cost, or you have a slight markup for them if you think that you want to make profit out of them. Notwithstanding, my best advice for this kind of situation, like I said the other time, is that you use the QuickBooks POS aspect of the software, or you use a third-party application that can manage the transfer for you within the QuickBooks application. These are the two options that you have, two best options that you have. So let me take the third question, please. Hello, Mr. Frank. Yeah. I come. Okay, it's as if this thing we want to do has finished loading. I'm going to pause the question for now, and we'll go back to our QuickBooks, which is still loading. I want to believe very well that many of us will agree with me that when we started the first day, we mentioned how we can refine this page to be a standard one for us, for our own use. Every user can decide how they want their page to look like. If you can look at it very well now, you can see that this thing is scattered. Am I cut off? No. What's happening? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, good. Let's close this. You can see that as a new company that we just opened down, it just scattered all my page. Look at my accountant center. It's scattered here. Look at another one here. It's scattered. Home page. Everything's scattered. I don't like seeing my screen like this. What do I do if I don't like it? What I do is that I will go to view. Then from under view, I'm going to change multiple windows to one window. Then it will fit my screen. I want to believe everybody will remember that we did this the first time that we started. Then I will go back to the view again. Now, I'm going to go there 3 times. I'll go back to the view again for the second time. I'm going to choose top icon bar so that all these lists I have at the side before, they will now come to the top for me to view. Then lastly, I will go back to the view again and I'll say open window list. Once I'm done with these 3, I want to believe this is the perfect screen I can have. Like this, I don't need to be afraid of my screen getting scattered. I just open something down. I want to see it again. I'll just come to my panel list and click on that particular one I want to view again. So at this point, all we have in this account is 0. And the position we are is how to make entry into our QuickBooks account in balances, entering the opening balances. Can anybody hear me? Hello,
Yes,
are we
sir.
together?
We can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let us start. Madam, please, right now, I want to go to make general journal. There are 2 ways I can get there if I'm using Accountant Edition. There's only one way I can get there if I'm not using Accountant Edition. So because I'm using Accountant Edition, I can click on Accountant and look for make general journal from this end. Alternatively, I can click on company and look for make general journal. Whichever way is easier for me, I can choose it. If I think that this will be stressful because I use make general journal a lot, I can use my favorite as we explained the other time. I'm going to customize my favorite. Then I will look for make general journal on the list. If I can find it's supposed to be under, if I say it there, I will double click on it and I will as well. Let me add this to you. I'm going to tell you what they use this thing for. Please remind me of this. Hello, can you hear me? Please remind me of this. I might forget. Okay, so at this point, you click OK. Before we move on to make general journal, I'm going to show you what I was telling the questionnaire before, that when you are using QuickBooks, it can actually guide you on what you are supposed to do. How do you get there? If you click on help, there is a button there. Where is that button? Okay, let me check under reports. Okay, don't worry. I will, if I remember, if I see it should be under help or under reports. Okay, yes, this is it. Year-end guide. Year-end guide. So under your help button, if you click on the menu there, you will see this year-end guide. If I click on it, it's going to show me all the possible things I'm supposed to do to know that I am done for the year. It's going to show me all the possible things I think I'm going to do to be done for the year. Reconciling all my banks, yes. Verifying the petty cash, make year-end accrual adjustment, and blah, 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 blah to the end like that. So you can actually use the QuickBooks to manage your client's business, even though they don't have QuickBooks installed on their application. I think this question I answer is meant for Josephine, I believe. So let me go back to where we are going, which is a make general journal. At this point, I will need to talk to Madam directly. Madam, please, let's go. Hello, Madam.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, now, what is our opening balance date? Which day should we consider?
Oh, let's consider January 1st.
January 1st. So I'm going to come to my date here and I'll choose January 2021 as our opening date. Then I will click on it. Then if I click on it, then, Madam, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, January 1st is good. But the best date we can use is the last working day of the previous year. You know why?
Okay.
You know why?
Yes, we are
the reason is because when you are checking your January transaction on the system, this opening balance will as well follow it. But if you have used the last working day of the previous year, it will not follow it. So to make it clear that these are balance brought forward, while January transaction is standing on its own. But am I getting my point?
Yes.
You get my point, Ma?
Yes, yes.
So the best practice, as far as this software is concerned, is for you to use the last working day of the previous fiscal year. So at this point, I'm going to choose 31st December for all our opening balances. Because we have, somebody saying something? Can I hear you? Hello, are you saying something?
No, I'm not saying anything. I think
okay, let me keep moving there. So because we have changed our application to multiple currency, that's why we have this Naira here. So we say this is our home currency, and we say this is entry number 1. And the next thing to that is whether this thing is an adjusting entry or is our normal transaction. So we are going to leave it as adjusting entry because we are just bringing in our opening balances. So madam, like I said, we are playing with the debit side first. Can you give me the first thing you have on your debit side?
Okay, just hold on. On the debit side, what I have on the debit side, I have cash.
Cash and cash equivalent. Can we take that to one particular bank?
Yes, it's just one bank.
Let's take it to one particular bank.
Yes,
Cash and cash equivalent. I'm not sure we have. Okay, there's a challenge here, madam. I can't see our banks here. They didn't follow our configuration. Only few things follow our configuration. Madam, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I don't have this time to waste, what I'm going to do, I'm going to escape this transaction. Then I will log out from this application. I'll close this. But I look at the magic. Are you with me, madam?
Yes.
Just look at what I'm trying to do. I want to bring in the chart of accounts of the other one into this new one. So I'm going to open this Learn Quickbooks. Then while it's opening, I will provide the admin password. Then if I'm able to log in, I will create an II file. If I'm able to log in, then I will go to under my file. I will go to under my file. Then from my file, I will use my utility. I will export II file. Then what I'm exporting is actually chart of accounts, my customers list, my vendors list, my employees list. These four things, I'm going to send them out of this place. Okay, my class list, if I have anyone, my job list, if I have anyone, then we have sales price level, sales tax, if I have anyone, then item list lastly. Then I'm going to say, okay, the price list you are trying to export as per only fixed percentage can be no problem. Then at this point, I'm going to give it a reasonable name. I call it my list. Madam, are you with me?
Yes, yes.
I'm going to save it on my desktop, my list. Then it has been saved to my desktop. Then I will close it. I'm going to close this application. And after closing it, I'll go back to our new one that we created, Learning 2. Then I'm going to log in as well on this one. Yeah, now. Okay. On our Learning 2, I will go to File, Utility, and I'm going to do import this time around. Then under the import is IIF file I'm importing. Then what I'm importing is my list. Then I'm going to open it. Then the system should be able to integrate all my list into this new one for me. So at this point, it will be easier for us to play with all the information that we have before. It will be stressless. If I go to my chart of account, Control A, it should give me all of them, but as a zero value. Do you get that, madam? Do you understand what I did there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So let's go back to our Make General Journal. So I'm going to click on Accountants or use my favorite and choose Make General Journal. Then while I'm on it, I'm going to choose the last working day in 2020. Then at this point, I can listen to you. So you said the first thing we have is cash.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So I want to look for cash. If we have it there, we have this cash account. So I'm going to take cash account and I'm going to put it on the debit side. How much is that?
520,000.
520,000, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use tab on my keyboard please have it in mind that at this point, it is good that you make use of your tab so that everything will be filled for you automatically. So I'm going to use tab on my keyboard. Then from there, I'm not going to enter anything onto the credit side this time around because I'm only playing with my debit side first. Let me open this so that you will see what we have inside. So I'm going to use tab again, and I'm going to tell the system that this is a opening. This is my opening balance as at 31st, December 2020. I need this information always. So I'm going to copy it, highlight it and copy it so that if I want to key in the next one we have to do, it will be useful for me. Now it's asking me for name. Because it's a cash account, it does not require any name at all. So I'm going to skip the name and move on to the next place by pressing tab again. Then it's asking me for class. If I want to classify this item, I can choose where it belongs. Maybe the money is for Asaba branch, or it's for so branch, or it's for Benin branch. I can just click any of them on my system. Then at this point, if I press tab, you will see what's going to happen. If I press tab on my keyboard now, it's going to automatically fill in some things for me. Look at its tab. You can see that as I press tab, it has filled the amount for me on the credit side automatically. Now, where is the second leg going to? Have it in mind that when you are playing with opening balances, all your second leg, whether the debit or the credit, will go to opening balance equity. Let's peep on opening balance equity before we do our entry. You will see that it will be showing 0. Opening balance equity. Can I get there? Look at it. Opening balance equity is 1501 and it's actually 0. As you are keying in things into it, it will be populating itself automatically. But have it in mind that at any time, for any reason, opening balance equity must be 0, like I told you the other time. And I mentioned to you, in a situation whereby your trial balance is not balancing, if you refuse to balance, you have 2 accounts that can suffer for the balance you will have inside your opening balance equity. What are these balance, the account that can suffer for it? Can somebody remember what I said last time? I want to see from the chart. Can anybody remind me what we said that we can use to take care of the opening balance equity in case it refuses to balance? Can you remember? Anybody? We have forgotten. Director's account, not loan. Director's account or what? Or what? No. Not retain any. You will not use retain any. I said direct and reserve. Thank you. Director's account or reserve. These are the 2 options that we have if we realize that our opening balance refuses to balance. So let's keep moving, people. Thank you, reserve. I got that. So my people, let's keep moving. So as it is now, it is 0. So I'm going to go back to my panel and click on the make journal bar. As I have it, what I need to put here is what? Second leg is what? Is 1501, which is opening balance equity. Tap on my keyboard will automatically fill for me the memo. Then if I press tab again and tab again, tab again and tab again, and put the same thing that I have here, that this thing is going to Benin office, if I really wish. Then at this point, I have been able to fill the cash and cash equivalent for cash and opening balance equity for the second leg. Madam, are you with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Now, do you know that as it is, we can continue keying in our things from this point so as long as it does not affect creditors or debtors? Let me repeat. We can continue listing down our our items here so as long as it does not affect creditors or debtors. If it's affecting creditors, you will not be able to go further. You have to save that one before you bring in the other one. Have that in mind. If it's affecting debtor as well, you have to save that one and bring in the other one before you can move on. So for this reason, I'm going to stop on one. Let us do it one so that you can be able to learn more as I'm moving on. So what I'm going to do here now is to save this one that we have done. So I'm not going to choose save and close. Rather, I will choose save and new. Save and new. Then it's asking me that this transaction is more than 90 days. Why is it asking me this? Because the configuration I give this thing, the configuration I give to it under my edit, under my preference, is that if transaction is more than 90 days, let me know that I am making mistake or not. That's why it's popping up that message. So this time I'm not going to look into that. I'll just say save and new. Yes, I know it's more than 90 days, so save it. Don't worry. Then it has been saved automatically. One thing you will observe is that after saving it, what happened? It retained my date and give me the second entry to be number 2. It's still adjusting entry. What I need to do is just to click on the account again. Madam, please give us second account, debit side.
Okay, just hold on. The second account is computer.
It's an asset.
Yes, it's computer.
Okay, good. So let's look for the asset that we have here and just put it there for the main time. I don't know whether we have, okay, good. We have office computer here as well. So we're going to use this office computer and press tab to move on. How much?
100,000.
100,000 naira. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Tap again, tap again. Because I have already copied my memo the other time, I just need to paste it now. Then I will move on till I get to class. If I wish, I give it class. If I wish, I might decide not to give it class if it does not belong to a particular branch or a particular class. For this one, let me leave it and move to the next line. So what's our second leg, madam? You remember? What's our second leg?
Hello, sorry, is the equity.
Opening balance equity. Thank you. Opening balance equity is 1501. Then I have it. Then as it is, I can say save and new again to take the third one. It will ask me it's more than 90 days. I say yes. It will ask me that it does not have, I say don't worry, I'm okay with it. It will ask me that it does not have class assigned to it because I had the system to remind me when I was doing my settings under preference. I said don't worry, save anyway. Then it has gone. Another thing you will observe here again is that it's now showing me the next number. Can you give me the next one, madam?
The next one is equipment.
Equipment. Okay, let me see whether we have equipment here so that we can just use it. If you don't have equipment, okay, let's assume this Picano to be our equipment. Like we said, we don't play with net book value. We play with only cost and accumulated depreciation. So I'm going to click on cost. Then, how much, ma?
It's 12,000.
Ma?
12,000.
12,000?
Yes.
12,000, 1, 2, 3, correct?
Yes.
I'll paste my opening balance. Then I move to the next level and I use opening balance equity. Then I can as well save it to get to the next one. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. And yes, I know. The next one, the fourth one.
Okay. The last one for this is rent.
Rent. So yes. We say rent. But you know, this time around, it's going to be, is it the rent they are owing? It's accrued rent.
Yes.
Yes. So because it's accrued rent, I don't know whether we have anything like that under our current liability, but let us find out. If you don't have it, then we're going to use this account. Let me use account payable for this sake, please.
No.
I will not waste our time.
No.
How much, ma?
Sorry, no. It's not accrued rent. Let's leave. It's rent that he has paid.
Madam, if they have paid, it will not reflect inside their balance sheet.
Yes, it won't reflect in the balance sheet, but it will reflect in the income statement.
No, we don't use income statement to open to do our opening balances.
Okay.
The element of our P&L account is a concurrent expenses and income that we run during the year. So what we actually use to do our opening balances is our balance sheet. That is what we will convert back to what's it called? Convert back to trial balance. So if you see any rent there, it's basically accrued rent.
No, so wait. So you just need balance sheet items, right?
Yes, balance sheet items. If you have seen rent inside balance sheet.
No, I'm not talking about balance sheets. No, don't get me wrong. I thought you want to prepare P&L and balance sheet, but now that you have said it's balance sheet, so leave the rent.
Okay, I should leave the rent.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you were going to prepare P&L and balance sheet before.
No. If you have to bring in P&L and my items, it's going to come as normal event that happened during the year. This one, we need the last audited account to bring in our opening balances for the new year. And we can only get that from our balance sheet.
Okay, no problem. Just leave the balance. It's only balance sheet. Yes, balance sheet item. Yes.
So we are done with the debit side. Hello, ma.
Yes, we are done with the debit side. Yes.
Okay, can we play with the credit side now?
Okay, yes. Okay, let me check the capital 600,000.
Ma?
Capital 600,000 for capital.
Okay, so wait, somebody is responding to us here. He said, I think it's prepaid rent. Let's assume it was accrued rent. Yes, I think it should be accrued rent. It's not, if it is prepaid, it's going to be under our
if it is rent, it will be under the creditors.
Under the debtors. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, under the debtors. But if it's
under the debtors, yes, you are correct. Under the debtors. Okay, so let us look into the other side. You said capital, Abby?
Yes,
capital can be assumed to be our director's account amount. Do we have anything like that here? Do we have any, I don't want to create a new one so that I can move faster. But if I don't have, there's nothing I can do. We will need to create one. Okay, if you don't have it, just follow what you said. That you said is capital. We don't have capital here, so I'm going to press tab to create it from here. This is indirect way of creating it, and it's part of our equity. Then I'm going to click next. I don't know the number I want to give to it. Then I cannot peep, but I know that it should be under equity. So let me look at my equity and see that I can give it 1504. Yes, 1504. So it's not under anybody. So I'll leave it like this and get my 1505 rather. Then I can save it. Then I have my capital now. How much, ma? Capital, how much?
600.
Ma?
600,000.
Okay, 600,000 naira.
Yes.
It's my opening balance. Then to the next level. Okay, Madam C, there's a problem. I'm sorry. Are you with me, ma?
Yes.
You know, because we are playing with our debit side first, what we should have here is actually opening balance equity, which is 1504, 1501. And the second leg will be what?
Capital.
Because that is the one we have on our credit side. This is how it should be.
Yes.
Then we can save this one as well. We'll say yes. But can you give me the next one?
Okay, the next one is creditor.
Creditor.
Yes.
Okay, so for our creditor, we say account payable, but like we said, is opening balance equity that will come first.
Yes.
How much, ma?
12,000. You know, the equipment was bought for 12,000. So we are owing the creditor 12,000.
Okay, 12,000. 1, 2, 3. Then we paste our memo. But this time around, madam, are you with me, ma?
Yes, sir.
We must put the name of this creditor. If we don't put it, we will not be able to go. Let's try. Then I'm going to choose account payable.
Yes.
Then it's there. If I try to save it, the system should not allow me to save it by default. Can you see what it's showing?
Okay, yes.
Is there please choose a vendor when using account payable. Similarly, when using account receivable, you have to pick a vendor. Why? Because the system wants to track who is owing this money. I want to know who is owing this money so that I'll be able to track that person's history for you. So let's just look for one of our debtors, one of our creditors.
Yes.
I'm going to choose let me choose ABC. I'm going to choose ABC, and here too is going to be ABC, and tap. Then this time around, if I try to save it, it should go once and for all. But I'll give me the last one, ma.
The last one is retained earnings.
Ma?
Retained earnings brought forward.
Okay, retained earnings brought forward. Yes.
Yes.
So at this point, if you are breaking into retained earnings, so what do? We have retained earnings here. 1501. How much, ma?
20,000.
Ma?
20,000.
20,000.
Yes.
I'll paste this. Then retain earnings. And of course, it's 20,000. Then if you try to save this one now, and you click OK, the system will warn you that ordinarily you should not have anything inside your retained earning. The system should be the one that will take care of it automatically. But if you say, no, I know what I'm doing, and you say, okay, the system will accept it for you, no problem. But are we done with everything?
Yes, we are done with everything. You should
Okay, let us see whether we are wrong or right. The first way to know whether we are wrong or right is to go back to our chart of account and see whether our opening balance equity is zero. If it is not zero, it means something is wrong with those figures. I'm going to click on chart of account. Then I will try and locate our opening balance equity. Then it's zero. It means we are right. Then the next one we can use to check whether we are right is to go to our trial balance that we have generated for ourselves. How do we do that? You click on report. Then from report, you move down to, accountant and taxes. Then from accountant and taxes, you will locate your trial balance. Then when you click on trial balance, it will bring out for you this like of your trial balance. Madam, is this correct with what you have?
Yes, it's 632. Yes.
632 is correct.
Yes.
Please clap for me. Okay, so at this point, we agreed that we are going to stop this class by 12 o'clock so that we can continue later by approximately 1:30. So I would like to answer a few questions for the next 20 minutes so that I can go and prepare myself for the next class I have with other people somewhere. Yes, it's on credit side. Capital is on credit side. Somebody is telling us that the capital should be on credit side. Yes, it's on credit side. And maybe you don't see it, but let us show it to you that it's on credit side. Can you see it now? The credit is capital and it's on credit side. Okay, so let me go to the questions. And under the question, the next question says, Assalamu alaikum. Yes, assuming a vendor purchase an item from us, or we render a service and want to use the outstanding payment to clear its debt. This question, you will only get the answer for this question when we get to the operational aspect. When we get to this place, this is where we are moving to now. But we get to the module 2, which has to do the operational aspect of the application. You will get the question when we get to this place. How can you receive from somebody has something the outstanding payment to clear his debt? Well, the first way you are going to handle this particular question is that you are going to use journal to solve the problem. This your vendor must have account with you as vendor. This your vendor must have account with you as customer. That is the best way you can handle it. Mr. A as a customer and Mr. A as a vendor. If you have it in these two forms, by the time you now feel that it's owing you, you are owing him some money, and you want to use the money you are owing him to settle the one he's owing you, there's another account we do create when you are using QuickBooks. We call it reconciliation account. It is usually a bank account type. It is this account that you are going to use to reconcile this kind of transaction. I hope you get that, but don't worry. By the time we are looking at into the practical aspect of it, if you raise this question again, then we are going to put it to practice for your sake. Is it possible to bring in the customer data, not only balances, but full accounts of the company from a previous software or Excel sheet? Yes, of course. Now, I think we did that last week. We demonstrated that last week when somebody asked a question, but it's only applicable if you are using accountant edition. When your customer asks history and you feel that this history customer asks is important to you, then you want to track his history, you can use accountant edition and use batch enter transaction. Then you use if they are in payment, you consider the payment first. If there are deposits, it can be deposit because everything has to do with your banks. If there are bills, invoices and credits, you track them, you trash them as well accordingly. Have it in mind that you can change your date here accordingly to bring in those things just in the name of you want to see the entire history of this particular customer in your new QuickBooks accounting package. The next question. This is from Josephine. Can I also use it for payroll service? Yes, you can use QuickBooks for payroll service, but it has to be configured. It has to be configured to be used for payroll service. And like I said, payroll service is a module on its own, standing alone. It's another course entirely on its own. Of course, it's not part of this our training, but so it be if the Mpaan felt that it should be treated, they can create time to let us look into it, and we can synchronize it into this one as they wish anyway. The next question says, sir, this is to remind you about the help. You said, yes, then I'll show you just now. I said, click on help. Then from help, you will see year-end guide. From the year-end guide, it will just tell you those areas you are supposed to touch in the process of putting this your client accounts together. It will just give you the insight of most areas you're supposed to touch. And this is how it has listed them. Anyone you are done with, just tick it. You are done with this, tick it. By the time you are done with it, you say save, check marked. So by the time you close it for now, if tomorrow you have worked on other things again, and you come back to your app and choose year-end guide, you will see the one you have done. Then you will be able to add those ones that you have not done. Let me uncheck everything back and save it back for the purpose of this training. Escape to keep moving. So the next question says, if I have a branch in China, how do I reflect this under currency? Yes, you can do that. For every transaction that you key in, look at it. The first thing you need to do is that you have your under company, you have your currency manager. Where is it? Can somebody help me to find currency? Manage currency. Here you can download the latest rates. Then you can have your currency list here. look at the list of the currency that you have that you can play with. You can by yourself play with this currency and assume that this is supposed to be as of this date, this is supposed to be your exchange rate. Let's say for this date now, the exchange rate is so amount, 11 naira. Then you save it as you wish. Like that, you are already playing with your currency. Now, how will it be useful for you? Let me show you how it's going to be useful. I'm not going to save this one because I don't need it. So you said you have a branch in China and you want to recognize those payments in China currency. And part of the currency that you recognize is China. So I'm going to look for China here now. I'm not seeing China. Okay. China is a yen. Is it not yen in Spain? I think it's yen. RSTUFWXY. China should be yen now. Can somebody correct me? Yen. Is it yen? Okay, anyway, I don't know the currency they spend. I think it's yen anyway. So by the time you determine what the currency is, anytime you want to transact business concerning this, your particular branch in China, let's say for instance, you want to write check for them to use. If you want to write check for them, you have to step down from this place and say, this my particular account for Ghana, for my China should be created. Control A. Then if I create new and I make it this, then I can choose my currency to be Japanese. Hey, let me use Japanese for you. Then Japanese is Japanese yen. Then the account I have there for them is a China bank. I don't know, just a China bank. I just give it a reasonable name. Then there's a sub account of cash and cash equivalent. Then there's a 1498. If I'm not wrong. 1498 is existing. Okay, let me say 1500. 1500. Let me put A so that it won't give us trouble. So I save it. Then you can see that I now have my China account. So if I want to, for instance, I want to bring in a check now, and I'm giving them for the sake of this, our China business, then the money should move from here to China. Yeah, what is happening now? I think I made a mistake. Oh, let me see. Chart of accounts, currency type, edit. Currency type is Japanese yen. Okay. The problem I have now is because I made it a sub account of this particular cash and cash equivalent. That's why I'm having that trouble, because our cash and cash equivalent is actually showing Japanese yen. It's actually showing naira. That's why it's not going. But as you can see, that the moment I remove it as part of our cash and cash equivalent, is now standing on its own. You can see that I can have my Japanese yen in my list here as my currency. So if I go back to my right check, and you can see that it's showing Japanese yen. So by the time I want to put the amount there, maybe it's a 1,500 Japanese yen. That's what I'm using to transact the business. Then from here, I can fill in every other thing to suit my purpose. What I'm trying to explain to you in natural sense is that you can actually choose your currency in that in any place you want to use it to suit your purpose. Except you feel the question is not answered, you can reframe the question and ask again. I will as well reframe the answer and answer you again. Then the next person, you said I should remind you. No, I've done that. The next one, it says, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Please, can you help us to summarize the process of installation if you want to use 30 days? It's very easy. I don't know how I will take you there, but what you do is that just follow the on-screen instruction. By the time you double click on it, the Intuit will naturally send a serial number to your email address. If you want to use their trial version, the moment you download it, before downloading, they will ask for your email address. From this, your email address, they will send the a serial number to you there, which you can use for a period of 30 days. If your system if you get another system, you can as well install it there, use it for another 30 days and so on like that. So that is the easiest way I think you can handle it. The next question says, how is yen converted? Is the conversion rate now? I don't know. The conversion rate is here. If you go to under company, and you think you are using yen, then you must have downloaded the exchange rate at the most recent time, or you use your calculator if you are sure of what you want to do concerning the conversion, the current conversion rate. Then from your current currency list, you can decide to put rates, the one you know. You can decide to put your rates. Let me say, for instance, now, let me look for this Japanese yen, what I will see it here. For the sake of the question here, we are looking for Japanese yen, which is here. Then I double click on it. Then I say the exchange rate as at today is to Naira is say 125, 123. Then I say okay. You can see that the end time I'm doing my conversion is going to be reflecting this particular rate. Please, usually talk about configuration. How do we go about configuration? Is one of the key things you need to know if you want to be a very sound administrator on QuickBooks accounting software. It's a very broad knowledge on its own. The first thing you need to learn in configuration is your LAN. You have to learn the local area network. It's another thing entirely. You have to learn the local area network. How do I two computers to communicate? If there are three, what do I need? I need a router or I need a switch. It's another broad topic on its own. The configuration. By the time you now finish the LAN, whatever configuration, there are some settings you can download from Intuit sites. How to connect system on LAN. They have their own TCP code that you have to go and download, that you use to configure every system, most importantly the server that want to communicate with your server. You configure your server so that the client can be able to see them. So configuration is another topic, and it's a broad something. It has to do with a lot of things, making your network private, don't expose it to people as public, working on with your IP addresses and the rest. I mean the 1,500 Naira inputted. What is the Naira equivalent? Yes, it's the Naira equivalent will not be in your own conversion that you just put here now as yen, which is a 123 to Naira. That's going to be your conversion rate. When we have more than, who remove this person's question now? Okay. Also, can audit be done on QuickBooks? Yes, like I said, you can actually do your small audit work on it. It's not a big deal. You just need to, by the time you get your account prepared, what you do is that you go to your P&L account and balance sheet from this page. Where is it? Let's say this is our balance sheet, standard. When you have it here like this, standard, what you need to do, if you think there are more things you want to do that the system has not done for you, the application has not done for you, then you can export it from here to Excel to play with it more. Just click on create Excel, new Excel workbook, and you will find yourself there. Then, like I said, there is something called statement writer. What is it? Statement writer, client review. Well, these are the functions that I don't use always, but I know it's there because I've used it before. It might be long. This statement writer will give you the privilege to prepare all your paperwork that you normally do in Microsoft Word. Now, wow. Anyway, I will look for it and let's get back to you. I'm sure it's there. As long as I used it. I used it last in 2015 edition. This statement writer. But I know it should be there anyway. So if you cannot see it there, maybe maybe they have removed it, but I know it should be there because 2015 edition, we normally use it there. So that one will allow you to prepare your letter and the rest within the application. Okay. So let me look for the next question. The next question says, can you give us your contact number? I did that before. I did that before on the chat, but I'm going to do it again. 08056614155 or 08085809157. Anyone you like, you can choose. So let's look at the next question. Please, sir, how can I get the software installed? Yes, you can download the trial version from Intuit. They will give you the opportunity to download it. Then what you need to do is for you to register from on their site before you will be able to download it. If you have anyone close to you that has it downloaded already, you can as well use that. When we have more than one debtors or creditors, when you have more than one debtor or creditors, we recognize them individually. How do we undo the journal? Journal is what we just finished handling now. I think I'm done with these questions. So by the time we meet again around 1 or thereabouts, then we should move on to the next one, which is a sales, customer, account receivable. How do you create sales receipt, invoice, accept return, and so on and so forth. So by 1:30 or thereabouts when we meet again, I think we should go. Do you have more questions? I think I've answered all these ones. Yes, I have. So Abu, please, you can
all right, sir.
Can you remove me, or what's going to happen to me now?
You can just exit and we'll come back by 1:30. Everybody will take a break.
Can
you hear me?
I can hear you.
So I said we can all log off and we'll come back by 1:30. You can exit, we'll come back by 1:30 to continue.
Okay, I should just log out, Shay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let me leave. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Like I've said, we'll be going on break. It's a long break today because our lecturer has some other engagement between now and 1. So we'll be coming back by 1:30. We can, if I'm not sure we should stay that long online, we can just log out and come back so that we can save our data and our battery. Thank you, everyone. We'll come back to finalize today. Today we should be finishing by 4:30 the mark, and then we'll have our final session next week according to our schedule. Thank you, everyone. Have a good break.
I know this customer has open invoice. Why don't you show up in the table? My happen. Blah, 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 blah. It's not our business. On the customer list here. Why is it not showing? It's not showing because the account, receivable account, is showing the mother account. We have to switch it to the son, the child account, which is trade receivable. The moment you click on trade receivable, of course, you will see that all the things that is concerning that particular customer will pop up. At this point in time, our interest is just to pay, to receive, let's say, 100,000 naira per payment from this particular customer. So what do? There are a few ways we can get there. The first way, you click on the amount, payment amount, and you key in 100,000 naira. Tap on your keyboard. It will automatically accept this payment by filling it for you here. What if you have more than one on the list? The system will take the first one. If the money is beyond the first one, then the second one can be considered. Then at this point, you have to give us preference. How did he pay? Using the reference, you put transfer. If it is not transfer with the check, you put the check number, as the case may be. Then where is the money going to? Then you have to choose where the money is going to. This time around, I'm going to choose our GTB account, that's where the customer is paying this money to. Another way you can do this, if you have a 0 here, you have a 0 here, for instance, and this thing is shown is 0. You just need to come here and still put your 100,000. It's allowed, it's acceptable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's allowed. Then you can see it fill this place for you, and at the same time, it gives recognition to the one you have keyed in. Then at the bottom, it's telling you that when you finish, this guy will be owing you 115,000 naira. Then you can decide to say, leave it as unpaid. I will still collect the money. Or you say, write it off. I don't need the money anymore. So we're going to leave it in our own case. Then you can choose save and close or save and new if you have other things to do. Somebody might ask a question. What if I save this thing? Then after saving it, I want to make a choice for me to be able to print it in my own receipt page to my customer. Yes, you can do that. How do you do it? When you are on a customer page like this, and this particular customer is active, you will see the history of the transaction you have done with him on this side of the screen. Then the money he has paid, just double click on it. It will open that same form that you free just now back for you. The moment it's open now for you, you can decide to choose print payment. The moment I click on print, it will ask me the format I want to use to print. Then I'm going to choose my printer. Okay, let me use a software so that we see how it should look like. Just give me a few minutes to do a very fast installation. A very fast installation of a screen printer. Screen printer. Let me install Do PDF, which is a screen printer. Then in a few minutes, we should be done with a Do PDF. Yes, set it as default for me and quickly print it. Okay. Once that, okay, it's complete. Okay, it's done. So at this point, if I decide to make this print out, how will I go about it? Refresh. How will I go about it? What I need to do is to come to customer center, then double click on this particular payment. Then I choose my printer. Then I say print this. Then I choose my default printer, which is top PDF, and I choose print one page for me. Then you will see how the thing will look like. Let it save it to desktop. It should be saved to desktop, and you should always open it after finishing it up. Then I choose OK. Then we should see something like this on our page. That this is the payment made by this particular person on this date, on this what's it called? On this date with this check number and so on like that. Somebody might ask a question. What if I want to see the history of this particular customer? Yes, you can see the history of the customer by doing what? When you are on customer page like this, I want to escape this page because I don't need it. Then I'll come down to my report. Then I'm going to choose my customer. Where is it? I'm going to choose my commodity customer. I'm looking for customers and receivables. Yes, it's here. Then when I get to customers and receivables, I can decide to see customer summary. I have it here. If I double click on this particular person, it will bring the history of this customer out. You can see the invoice raised to him. You can see the payment he made. Then you can see the balance that the customer is owing. From this end, if I double click on it, it will take me back to the original form that I used to fill his invoice. If I click on this second one as well, it will take me back to the page at which he made his payment. I can print this one to customer if I want. If I don't want to print this to customer, I can decide to open the invoice. Then once I open the invoice will give me the detail of how much is owing, how much he has paid, and how much is the balance. You can see it on the screen. If this is what I want to print, I just need to come to my printer again. Let me look at the print preview. Then this is my print preview. The invoice should look like something like this. Then at this point, you can actually play with this, your invoice. You can edit the interface by your own self. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So at this point, I can decide to print the invoice if I want to, or I can decide to leave it the way it is if I don't want to print it. Now look at the bottom. What I want you to see at the bottom is this. Because the invoice we have taken is not reflecting balance, I'm going to change this invoice. So let me close this page. I'm going to choose another invoice from proposal. Does this one show the balance? Yes. Let's see whether it will show it on our preview. Now look at it. You can see that this one is showing us how much the person has paid and how much is the balance the person is supposed to pay. We have used this in several organizations like schools. Situation whereby you have a school that normally we generate invoice for all their customers, all their students. Then anytime any student make a part payment, this is going to be issued to the parents as part of the payment they have made and how much is the balance they are supposed to pay. We have done that and severally. Then if you look at this invoice, you can see that it's showing past due, meaning these payments that this guy is owing us is overdue. The moment he finishes payment, this invoice will change to paid, as you can see on the screen. Let's, for the purpose of this training, pay off this invoice. Then I'm going to go to customer and I'm going to enter receive payment. Then I'm going to consider this guy's balance, which is 115,000 naira. I'm going to choose save and close without changing anything because everything is in order, except for the fact that I may want to change my back if I wish. If I don't want to do that, I leave it like that. Then I consider the same date. Then I put my reference number, which is the check number or the transfer code that is given to me. Now at this point, I can choose save and close. If I choose save and close on my screen, then the system should be able to tell me that that invoice is fully paid. You can see that this invoice has changed from past due to paid, and it's telling us the day that that payment was made. I'm going to escape this page. Then looking at the customer's history, you can see that at this point is now is 0. Is there any other way you can use to get to the customer's details? Of course, yes. When you are on the customer's information like this, the center, I can right click on the particular customer I'm interested in and choose quick report from this end. Then it's supposed to show me what has happened here. It's not showing me anything because it's showing this month to date. I'm going to click on the drop down and choose all. Then it will be able to show me how or all the things that we have done together on this page. Then let's look at accepting return. Accepting return will be very interesting if we can give consideration to receiving items. You know, we don't have any item on the list now. What I would have suggested is that let us, for the purpose of this training, skip everything about sales and customer and receivables now. Let us pause it and move on to the vendor so that we'll be able to bring in items. So by the time we have this item brought in, then we'll be able to play with other areas of this application. That is my advice. So let's quickly do that. Within the next 30 minutes or thereabout that we have, we should be able to do something under purchase. Okay, so I want to skip that area now and quickly go to the area of purchase or the vendor. It is similar to what we have done before. They are just side by side. Just the way you have your customers on this side, you have the vendor on the other side. If I click on the vendor as well, I can go to vendor center. Then I can decide to say, no, I want to enter bill for customer. I want to pay bill for customer. There are two different things. Enter bills means that you want to show that this guy is owing you. Then pay bills means that you want to pay for the one that you have purchased that you have not paid before. Then you can add something like receive item and enter bills. This is the one I normally encourage my client to use. Receive the items, then in the process, let the bill be entered. So this is what I'm going to use for you as well. I'm going to click on receive item and enter bills. You can see that it's showing here that what I want to do is to enter bill, then bill will be received. Then at this point, I'm going to choose a vendor that we are buying something from. Let's call it ABC Limited. ABC, no. Let's call it, where's that our China account? Did you create China account here? I think we did one China account that time. Okay. It's a bank account. Sorry, it's a bank account. It's bank. Let us create a China customer. China, somebody that is buying from China. Let's even see how it will look like. For the purpose of our brother that asked a question on the yen and the rest. So let's for this purpose, I'm going to go back to the vendor center. Then from there, I'm going to create a China customer. Then I will call it Control N to create new one. I'm going to call it China customer. Then I'm going to choose the primary currency for him as yen. That's all I know. Then the customer name, company name is still China customer. Then I say, okay. Then this is our China customer. Then at this point, I'm going to escape this. Then I'm going to choose the China customer here. Then it's asking me, there is no exchange rate saved for this currency. Quickbooks has enter a rate of 1. Be sure to update the exchange rate before saving this transaction. Okay, let's see what is going to happen to our exchange rate under list. Then from the list, we have currency list. Then from there, I think we have, where is that yen? We use yen just now. Japanese yen, which we have applied. Okay, let's choose. I'm just trying to complicate our problem so that we'll be able to know. Okay, it doesn't allow me to edit this, enter the rates in the, yes, I've done that. In the own currency, yes. I would have loved to edit this day, but it's as if I don't have such privilege to do that. Except maybe I need to key in another one for this same Japanese. Okay, let me say as at January, the exchange rate is 200 naira. Then I save it. Okay, let's see if we have the same issue. Then I'm going to say the money we are collecting now in that foreign currency is 2,000. So it's still using 2,000. It's still using 2,000 to report this particular transaction. So meaning it's still using 1. It's still using 1 as our exchange rate. So something should be done, I think. Under company, we have manage currency. Then we have currency calculator. Then we say for home currency, which is okay, the exchange rate, Naira to foreign currency. Okay, home currency is a 200 Naira. That's what we use. And foreign currency is 1 because Nigerian currency is bad. Okay, so it's going to be 200 Naira exchange rate. Okay, I'm going to close this and go back to that same place to see how we can play with this currency. As long as I use this area of the application. That's why you see me battling with it, but there's no problem. We are going to get there. So I'm going to have, okay, let me try home currency adjustments. It's going to be, exchange rate is 1 Naira to any currency, no. For yen, exchange rate for 1 is this. It's correct now. That means it's saying what we are choosing. Then for dollars, we don't even need dollar now. Our focus is on yen. So let's forget about the rest. So I'm going to go there again to see the third one, manage currency. And I'm going to choose currency list, which we have done just. Okay, let's try download. You cannot download the currency rate on this version of anymore. Oh, sorry. So I want to believe it's still saying this thing as 1. So what I'm going to do, let me refresh my page by pressing F5 on my keyboard. Then at this point, I will repeat my 2000 and press tab, and it's still saying 1. Okay, don't worry. Just remind me before we finish this, or on our WhatsApp page before the next class. Somebody should please remind me that I want to get this area done for you. The reason why it's taking so much of my time is because, of course, I've used this exchange rate now. It should be more than 5 to 7 years that I used it last, because I didn't find any reason to use it anymore. I just used it to train. That time after the training, I abandoned it. So I'm going to leave it now for now. So I'm going to take Asaba as my branch, or this time let me take Benin office as my branch. Then we are bringing in some new items from China. Then one of them is close-up 1. We are bringing in close-up 1. Then the cost of the close-up 1, we are buying 200 or 2,000. Then it's saying it as a 2 Naira as we have it. So we can say, okay, sorry, 2 Japanese currency at this point. So 2,000 will give us this. So if I press tab on my keyboard, then I click on recalculate, you should be able to recalculate the amount for us to reflect the 4,000. We can buy many other things from the same place. Let me buy another thing. Call it close-up 2. But this time around, this one is going to be 1,000 pieces, and at the rate of 3 Japanese currency, and it's going to give us 3,000. You can see that the amount here has not changed. I will recalculate again to give me the most current amount. But my painful thing now is that this is supposed to change to our conversion. Don't worry. I will play around it, and by next class, somebody should please remind me of it. Then I will tell you what has happened there to refresh my memory. It's long I use it, I said. Okay, I think it's here. I have my option here. Japanese to Naira is let's say 260 Naira. Oh, good. So you can see that it's very easy. So the exchange rate I'm going to use at the bottom is already there for me. And unfortunately, I didn't observe that. So the moment I key in my exchange rate from Nigeria, from Japanese money to Nigerian money, it has automatically changed it to the value in Nigerian currency. So at this point in time, I'm going to click on save and close to save our bill. It said it's more than 90 days. I said, no problem. Sorry, there's one more thing I've not done. Don't change it. Don't save it. I'm supposed to change the account I want the money to go. I'm supposed to change it. So how will I do that? You see that this thing is already showing me that is a Japanese amount. because the account payable that we have is Nigerian owned. So the system has automatically created the Japanese own and the other one own. So to make this thing easier for us, I'm going to add new one. I'm going to add new one with a code number 2110 or 2104. I'm going to add new one, and I'm going to call it Japanese customers payable account. I'm going to call it accounts payable, account payable in yen, in Japanese currency. Account payable in, I don't know, J what? JPY. I'm going to press tab on my keyboard. Let me set it up, and my code, account code is 20 what? Okay, 2004, we said. Then I'm going to choose sub account. Nobody will fit in. Anybody fit into it? Okay, yes, this one fits in. It's going to be a sub account under this other one. Then at this point in time, I can decide to say save and close. Then if I click on it now, you see that it's not choosing account payable in Japanese currency. Then everything I have to do with all my Japanese customers will be going to this particular account. So at this point in time, I'm going to save this transaction. I'll say yes. You say you have changed this currency exchange rate for 1 blah blah blah. Will you like Quickbooks to save this change rate? Yes, let it save it. It's okay. You save it. Then at this point in time, if you look at your record, we should have this transaction reflecting in 2 places. We just brought in new items. Our inventory must have increased. Then our liability must have increased. Let us find out. I'm going to click on reports. Then from reports here, I'm going to choose company and financial. Then I'll go to balance sheet standard. Then on it, I'm going to look for the inventory, which is value in Nigerian currency. I can double click on it to open it. Then if I scroll down slightly, I should be able to see our liability of the same amount in Nigerian currency, but telling us it was a conversion from our Japanese account. If I want to see the details of what I have done so far, I can double click on the amount again. Then it will show me what we have done, tell me the conversion rate that we use, tell me the actual amount in Japanese yen and actual amount in Naira. Then with this, I will be able to track this transaction. So at this point in time, we are actually owing this guy this amount. That is what it means, because it's showing that we have been on page. So I'm going to close this page. What is the next thing we have? So what I have done so far is to receive item and enter bills. I skipped the first one, which is create a purchase in order. You can actually do that. I'll take you there. So if I decide to pay this bill, what is going to happen? If I decide to pay this bill, what is going to happen? I can as well pay it in 2 ways, just the way we explain the customer's own. If I am at customer vendor center, I can right click on the bill. What is it? China customer. You can see that here is showing that you are owing China customer 7,000 of their currency. So if I want to pay this amount now, I need to right click on it. I'll say pay bill. If I don't want to do that, I can, from this menu at the top, click on pay bill as well. Anyone that is convenient for me, no problem. Then I'm going to choose my account payable, which is the one that is in yen. Then after taking it, I will see that I'm owing 7,000 of Japanese currency. Then if I decide to make this payment, I'm going to check this checkbox here. I don't want to pay everything. I only want to pay a few amounts, say 1,000 of their currency. And I'm making this payment from China Bank. So China bank, there's no money there. So if I pay this money there, it's going to be showing a negative balance. I said, no problem. The exchange rate is the same amount of money. If I want to change it, I can make my decision to change it from here. Then it's going to keep the record of what I use to make that payment. If I decide to pay this bill, I'm going to click on pay bill. Then it's telling me it's more than 90 days. I said, there's no problem. Just pay that bill and the bill is gone. If you look at it now, you see that we are owing the guy 7K before. It's now that we are owing the guy a lesser amount. If you look at where's the bill? You can see that we have paid certain amount of money to the guy on this particular amount, and our balance is actually this amount. So that is how you actually undo receipt payment and pay bills. But we have made it further by considering a foreign account transaction. Then the next thing I want to show us, which I said I skipped, is actually the purchase order. Purchase order is as simple as you preparing your something like the list of what you want to buy. So I'm going to click on vendor. Then from vendor, you can see something like create purchase order. If I click on create purchase order, then this particular page will open up for me. This time around, I want to buy other things, but I'm going to buy this thing from Nigeria here. So I'm going to choose a Nigerian vendor, which is ABC Nigeria Limited. Then the class is the same office. Then the drop shipping, the address is you drop the thing to, drop it to a particular customer. No, there's no need. Then the template, I want to maintain my purchase order template. Then at this point, the order I want to make is actually close up 10. Then when I'm choosing close up 10, I have my description as I want. I can just put a description the way I want it. Then I'm going to buy 2,000 of these products. Then if I buy 2,000 of this product, it's going to be 22,000 naira in Nigerian currency. I can leave a message for the vendor. After doing all this, what I need to do is to save this particular transaction. Have it in mind that if you do this, this does not have any effect on your financial statement. It's only purchase order that the system wants to see how you prepare it and send it to whosoever is making the supply. Whosoever is making the supply. Then, by the time you decide where the supply is going to, then you can decide to say, I want to save and close. Let me increase this money to make it add one more zero. Then you have 20,000, 220,000 naira. Okay. So the opening balance for this particular guy is 12,000. The opening balance for him is 12,000. What does that mean? It means we are owing this guy 12,000 naira before, and the credit limit we have with him is 25 million naira. Then at this point in time, we can decide to save this transaction so that we're owing him more money. I'm going to click on save. Then I'm going to, before I save, there are a few other things I can do. I can create sales items from this particular transaction. Then, as in what I have not bought, I want to sell from it. I can tell you that is a wrong practice. So the first thing you need to do, you save this transaction. It's asking me that I have some wrong English. I said, don't worry, ignore, just ignore all. Ignore all. Then that purchase order has been saved. So when this purchase order is being saved, you cannot, it's not married to anything. You can only see it on the guy's list. If you click on it, look at it. ABC Nigeria Limited. You can see the purchase order, but there is nothing there. It doesn't make any change to your financial records. It's just standing on its own. But how can you use this purchase order? There are many ways you can use it. If I double click on it, like I said, you can decide from this point to say you should create sales receipt, which I said is not too good for it. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to receive from this particular guy. I will right click on it and choose receive item and enter bills for this guy. Then the moment I do that, the system should be able to load what has happened between me and him. Then you see, it says open purchase order exit for this vendor. Do you want to receive against one or more of these orders? I will say yes. Because I am interested in that particular order, then I'm going to choose okay. So if I choose okay for this guy, then there's no memo there, nothing. The purchase order number is 1. Then I'm going to click okay. You can see that the moment I click on okay, the system should be able to recognize this particular purchase order. I don't know what's happening. Something happened. Should be able to recognize this order. No. Something is happening. You should be able to recognize that order and bring the list for us here. So if it's not recognizing it, it means there's a problem. There's a problem. We have choose purchase order. Is there anything I didn't key in? Yes, it's there, 200,000, which I have saved. Yes. Then at this point, I decide to receive this item and enter the bills for it. Then it should be able to pop up a page for me that I have a running order. Then open purchase order for this. Then if I choose okay, it should be able to pick this for me. Then if I say okay, I know you should be able to list those things down. So by the time it lists it down like this, what if I'm not receiving all this order at once? I can tell the system that no, the quantity I'm receiving now is just 10,000 from the order. So after receiving 10,000 from this order, and every other thing is there, is PO1, and I want to say the amount is this, then the date is okay, or let me take this date to the next day so that it will be moving. Then at this point, I can decide to put my reference number that I used to receive the order. Then at this point, I can decide to save and close. It's more than 90 say that say yes, don't worry, just save it for me. This order has been saved there, but it's only 110 that I give consideration to. If again, I decide to go back to this same person to say, yes, I have the rest of the order to receive, the system should be able to pop up the same thing for me again, that I never finished this, there are more to be done. Then I can click on it again, then tick this place again, then okay it again. Then at this point, I can receive the remaining 10,000, or I can take another piece and take another maybe 5,000 or thereabout. So at this point, I'm going to save and close to receive the last order, but it's not going to be the same date. Let me take my date to on the 7th and save and close. So like that, you can actually use your purchase order and convert it to item that you receive. Similar thing is applicable to the sales order as well. So at this point, the goods you have received will be recognized by the application. What if we have made mistake? We posted this into the wrong account. Okay, we have an account there. Let's leave it in that account. I think we create, okay, it was the receivable that we created the account for. I think we should repeat similar thing for this one as well. Maybe in the nearest future, if we have the privilege to do that, we will do it. So as it stands, we have been able to look into the create the sales order, it says purchase order, receive the item and whatever bills, make part payment to the bills that we have received, then using sales tax, that is to pay our sales tax before we now move to banking. I'm not going to move to banking. I will go back to this place that we stopped the other time, creating invoice. And this time around, I'm going to create receipt an invoice for the inventory part, because we have something like a close-up 1, close-up 2, and at the same time, we have a close-up 10 that we just purchased from China. So I'm going to switch back to the application. This time around, I'm going to go to customers page, the customer center, and we have to supply a close-up 10 to these people, to the University of Benin. So let us create another job by right-clicking on it. Then we choose a new job, add new job. The name of the new job is what? Is a supply of close-ups. Whether it's close-up 1, whether it's 2, whatever, we have the supply of close-up. So as we have it here, if I right click on this particular person now, I can create invoice for the one we have supplied to them by choosing create invoice. Then after creating invoice, what will I do? I will need to choose the class. I choose Benin office. Then I will need to choose the account receivable account, which is a trade receivables. I will maintain my Intuit invoice. Then I'm going to come here and choose close-up 1. So let's say we are supplying 30, and I choose close-up 1. Then close-up 1 is $5 per one. So we are giving them at 150. We can decide to increase our price. Maybe this one is not the real price, and it's now 12,000 naira. Then we should have this amount as the money we are collecting from them. Then the VAT has been charged. The total amount is there in Nigerian currency. This is the balance due to supply of close up to University of Benin. So at this point, I'm going to save. Okay, let me change the date. Let me change it so that we can be moving forward. I'm going to change the date to February 9th. I'm going to choose save and new. If I choose save and new, it's telling me that there is a problem, that the invoice number is already existing. That means I'm supposed to change this invoice number to the next one. By default, it should keep changing by itself. I don't know what happened. Maybe something must have happened. That's why I didn't change. Ordinarily, it should turn to 2 for us. So let me save this. Okay. The heck, so that's changed now. So at this point, we have this invoice for University of Benin under this particular supply of close up. One thing you will observe, if you click on Unibank, you will see all the history concerning each and every one of the transactions we have made through them, which is the construction, which is the supply of chairs, as well as the supply of close up. All of them are there. But if I click on only close up, it will limit me to only the transaction that we did together under the close up side. That is how it works. That is how it works. So at this point, what we are supposed to do is to accept return for this item that we have supplied to them. So if, for instance, we want to accept return for few of this item, how do we do that? You can go to customer, the vendors, so the customer center, then you will see something like create credit note / refund. Create credit note / refund. I'm going to click on it to accept a refund. But the good news is that, you know, this guy has not made payments to us. It's an invoice that we raise onto them. This is one of the major advantage of using invoice for every of your transaction, is to make your account clean. You have a very good transparent account if you are using invoice before you receive payment. Using invoice before you receive payment, it will make your account very clean. So now that we want to create credit memo for this particular transaction, what are we returning? We are returning maybe 5. They are returning 5. Sorry, close up 10. Is it close up 10 we saw just now? Let me check from the center. Supply of close up. We are looking on to close up 1. Sorry. Close up 1. Then on our credit memo, I choose close up 1. I put my description. Then the quantity we are returning is 10. We sold it to them at the rate of 12,000 naira. Then they are actually returning the value of 120,000 naira. Then I'm going to click on save and close. Then, okay, sorry, cancel. Let me change the account that the money is going to, which is account receivable account. Then the credit memo, we have our customer memo. Then at this point, I can save and close or save and new. He said there is no class. Okay, let me see. Oh, sorry, it has gone. It has gone. Now, see what is happening. Look at the screen, please. Everybody should look at the screen, please. There's a question here. It said this credit memo or refund has the remaining balance which you may use. Would you like to do? What would you like to do with this credit? Retain as available credit. Give refund. Apply to invoice. If you retain as available credit, it will be inside these people's book. So if you give a refund, then it will reflect as if you are giving a refund of money back to the person. So I'm going to leave it as available credit because we are actually using a what's it called? Account receivable account, trade receivable account, not a transaction that has to do with cash. So I will leave it as available credit. So as it is, you can see that we now have this one as refund. We have this one as invoice. You cannot get better understanding of this thing until you actually go to, where is it? Go to your company and financial, open your P&L account. I want to choose all. Then from this end, you will see the effect of what we have done. I'm going to open my income. Then under my income, you can see a few things that there is a credit memo, which give the money back to the person. This is one leg of it. The other leg should be under your balance sheet, which has to do with your account, receivable account, which will as well reflect the amount, total amount that you refund. This is the effect of we leaving it as available credit. Had they been, it was a cash transaction. We now decide to do it like that. That's the reason why I said this is the best practice you should use if you are using the application. Don't, if you are a bigger organization and you know you give credit a lot, and you know it's possible for them to return any goods to you at any time, you should be using invoice for all your transactions, so that everything you are doing will pass through the customer's account instead of just the sales and the cash and the back on cash. That is just the effect. Now, you can see that this one is reflecting 129,000 naira credit, meaning this is what you're supposed to take away from the person's money back. The 9,000 naira on top is actually our withholding tax. If you want to see the effect of that, the 9,000 naira should be debited. As we have this one credited here, look at it, it's debited here. This is 120. Then this is 129 credit. Then there should be another 9,000 naira credit, which will be under our Federal Inland Revenue Service account as the VAT that they are not supposed to, we're not going to pay them anymore because the transaction was, the goods were returned. You can see that the net 9,000 naira is as well there, reflecting the refund that we are supposed to make if we are paying the next VAT to our Federal Inland Revenue Service. We're going to give that, put that into consideration. That's what it means. I want to round up this thing by 4 o'clock. I want to round it up by 4 o'clock. So I will advise that we leave the remaining 39 minutes for question, so that by next time we will start from invoice through this and this rest before you will now move to banking, before we will now move to budgeting. Then we look at more of the reporting side by next class. So let us leave this remaining time we have for questioning. So I'm going to the chat first. Okay, someone is leaving. Okay, somebody is asking question that how do we generate customer statement? I just demonstrated customer statement for you just now. There are 2 or 3 ways you can use to do that. When you are at customer center, just from there, right click on the customer's name and choose the report. If you click on the report, you can decide to say all, then everything about that customer, you are going to see it here as it's coming in, as it's going out, as it's coming in, as it's going out. If you like, you can do more customization on the report as you wish. Then the next question says what? What's the next question? Okay, chat. Then this person asks again, is it possible to prepare daily sales report, goods received report, and purchases report? Of course, you can actually do that. It's as easy as eating rice and beans. Just come to under your report, then under your sales, you can have something like sales by customers report, the summary, sales by customer details, sales by item, sales. You have many reports you can actually play with on the sales side here. So it is not left for you to choose your date range. If I come here and I choose sales by customer detail, I can choose my range, whether I say all, whether I choose from today to today, whether from the list I just choose today. It will definitely show you based on what you want. You can do for all of them on a daily basis. Then the next person says, apparently Mrs. Wasilat Odeshina, one of the panel has a webinar which is scheduled to comment by 4:30. I don't know, sorry. Now let me go to the question and answer. The first question I want to answer from the list now is what is the difference between customer and customer job? How are they created? I think we have demonstrated how to create that before. But the difference between 2 of them is that you can have only customer without having customer's job. The issue of customer jobs will come up when you have one customer with many services you are rendering to the customer. I just created an instance for you on the application just now. That let's say, for instance, we have a customer called Uniben. In Uniben, to them, we are contractors. They can give us any kind of job, but we want to be able to track every job given to us. Then it is necessary for us to create a customer's job. How do we do that? The moment you create your customer first, then you right click on that customer and choose add job. If they are giving us the supply of 500 chairs, then we can create a job called supply of 500 chairs, so that we'll be able to track everything that is coming in and out on the supply of customer job. Whether it's expenses we are incurring on that, whether it is income that we are receiving on that, at the end of the day, we should be able to know plus and minus according to the job. That is the importance of creating job and the customer's job by itself. Okay, now let's look at the next question. It says, should VAT be on sales received or sales invoice? Of course, it's going to be on the 2 of them. Whether sales invoice or sales received, 2 of them will carry VAT. The difference between 2 of them is that there is the one on the sales received has been collected, and the one on the sales invoice is yet to be collected. But at least the customer knows that this is how much is owing us. Then the next question says, the money is supposed to go to sales. since no cash received, so it should be sales and customer. Yes, that is exactly what we have put to practice now. Invoice, if you give invoice to your render, if you create invoice for your customer, there are two legs involved, your sales and the debtors account. That is correct. Is this set up as multi-currency? Yes. In the beginning, we're using just single currency, but because one of our participants, one of our brother, insists that he wants to see the functionality of the multi-currency, that is where we were forced to choose multi-currency. If we like, we can decide to go back to single currency so that we will not be having this exchange rates stuff anymore. Okay, the next question. Okay, the next one says, please, how do we register to pay vendor? Because I have seen some people use it to treat payment for vendor. I think we did that as well. Maybe you didn't follow up. We said you can pay your vendor using two means. Click on the vendor menu and choose pay bills. This is the first way to get to the place. The second place is that when you are at the vendor center and you have a particular vendor you want to pay, right click on the vendor and choose pay bills. Either of the two ways will give you the same result. I think you understand what we are saying. Then the next question says, how do we treat accrual in payables before you receive the invoice? Well, I don't understand your question. The treatment of accrual will definitely reflect under your liabilities. They will reflect under your liabilities. So when you say, how do we treat accrual in payables before you receive an invoice? The accrual stuff does not have anything to do with your invoice that you are receiving. Okay, maybe I'm getting you. Before you receive invoice, okay, meaning when somebody is owing you. Hello, can I talk to this person personally? I want to have a better understanding of this question.
What's the name of the person so I can allow the person to talk?
Can he raise up his hand and I talk to him?
What's the name of the person? Which question are you referring to?
Afis Adetunji.
Okay. Afis, please unmute yourself.
All right, hello?
Yeah, please let me understand your question better. You said what?
Yeah, you've just explained it that. So when you are the one receiving the invoice, so at that point,
you said what?
Not hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so at that point, you have not received the invoice, but you just want to accrue for that liability. And sometimes, so like you said, PO does not flow into the account, but in some instances.
If you say you want to accrue for the liability, yes, but you have not received the invoice.
Yeah, so so you might not be able to pass it under your payable, right? So how do you treat such case?
Okay, before you say you want to accrue for the liability without not having the invoice, at least you must have full information concerning the item you are receiving. Is that correct?
Of course.
You have to know the quantity that you are receiving, even when you don't have invoice in your hand. This is part of the flexibility of the application. What you will do is that you will still raise your normal receipt item and enter bills. Based on the little information you have concerning the quantity and the amount they want to sell it for you, you key it in, then it automatically reflects under your account payables. Then the quantity you must have entered will reflect under your inventory. Meanwhile, if after like a week or two, you have the real information, if there is no changes, you leave it the way it is. If there is changes, you can actually open that same form back and make your addition as the case may be, then save it and keep moving. Do you understand?
I get you. All right, sorry, a quick one. So goods receive voucher.
Please speak loud, please.
Can you hear me? Goods receive voucher, GRN, or goods receive notes. Is there a functionality for that to generate that from the system.
I can't hear you. Please speak. My speaker is not very loud like that.
He's saying that is there a functionality for goods received notes, GRN?
Okay. The good received notes. Okay, yes, now you have the good received notes.
I'm just asking. I guess I've not seen
if
that.
you have the good received notes is sufficient to get the quantity of the item. What if you don't know the price? So if you know the price, just like I said, you can still use your normal receive item and enter bills, provided you have these 2 or 3 information: the date, the quantity, and the amount, the cost of the item. But by the time you key it in, I'm just trying to tell you the flexibility now. By the time you key it in and you realize that when you now have the original information, there are slight difference in it. You can actually, if you have the access anyway, you can actually open that same page back and make your addition accordingly. If you don't have the access, it might be necessary for you to call on the person that have the access to do that for you.
Yeah, maybe you didn't get this last question. It's from the invoice side, like inventory side, when you receive goods. So is there a functionality as in, can you generate that report, that GRN or GRV?
Yes, I've answered that before. I said yes. You can generate report on all the things you have keyed in into the system. Provided you are the one that keyed it in the first place, then you have the privilege to generate reports on it as well. Okay. How do you treat? Okay, I don't understand withholding tax for credit. How? Withholding tax. Okay, anyway, me, I don't understand your question, but if I want to define it the way I get it, that is Ahmed Odun Aye. If I want to get your question right, what we did just now is that somebody bought something, we sold something to somebody, approximately about 200,000 naira. And we have already charged VAT on that particular transaction. If the VAT has gone for the goods sold for 200,000 naira, and the person is returning certain quantity of this particular item, if we can sell with VAT, of course, if it's bringing back, we will consider the VAT as well. That is why you see that on the credit memo as well, the VAT portion of the item is returning is coming back, because that item is no longer for sales. He's returning it back to us. So he should not pay tax for what he didn't buy. That is why you see it like that.
Sorry, if I may.
The next question, Mustafa Gali. Please, if one is using the software for school, it means the pupils will be treated as customer. Yes, on the software. My question is, how do we classify the pupils by their class? E.g., primary 1, primary 2. Well, you are correct in that area. This is one of the major challenges you face if you use it for school. So the only way you can use to track them is actually your engagement with them, your transaction with them. How do I mean by that? They will just stand as a name on your customers list, regardless of whether they are in primary 1 or primary 2 or primary 3. This is how it is configured. Then the only thing you need to do is that your payment that they are receiving from you, you can classify that based on the classes. So anytime you open primary 1 list and you see Abdulatif there, you know Abdulatif was in primary 1 at this time and he has paid his money. So the name as customers will not change. What will change the whole thing is actually your class, the way you do your class on the application, by recognizing primary 1 payment, primary 2, so that you'll be able to know how much you are generating from every class. Then you will know how much people that have paid concerning a particular class. Hope this answers your question. Yeah, I think I'm done. Okay, there's another question though. Okay, the next question. Can the software generate good receive note? Good receive note? No. No. It cannot. If I get you clearly, I think we use good receive notes for those items that we supply to customers. Please, somebody should help me to unmute this. I beg, help me to unmute this guy. What's his name? Adediran Adenekon. Okay, I beg, help me. I want to talk to him. Adediran Adenekon.
I don't think he's still online. He's not. He's not.
He's not online.
Yeah.
I just want to have the better understanding of this question so that I'll be able to know how to handle it. Okay, let me go to the next one, which is in withholding tax. Rather, how is both withholding tax and VAT show up on the receipt? Oh, this is a big question. Oh, normally, the one that you, okay, let me just handle this person's question. And the question will take us to another place that we have not gone to before. Because he wants to know how we are going to handle withholding tax on this matter. So what I'm going to do, I'll go back to my page and go to item list. It's a long process, but please don't mind the time I want to take. Then I'm going to create withholding tax account by using Control N. But this time around, it's going to be charges. Where's charges here? Other charges. It's going to be other charges. It's not going to be sales tax. It's going to be other charges. Then I will call it withholding tax. Then I will tell you that the percentage is maybe is a withholding tax on can you tell me on what? Withholding tax on what, please? On rent. So let me assume certain percentage. Then I choose the account that the money should go to. So this time around, it's going to be a liability account, which is for Federal Inland Revenue Service as well. A liability account, Federal Inland Revenue Service as well. You cannot associate an item with sales, whatever, on the deposit fund, blah, blah, blah. No, now, no, now. Where is it now? We can now. Or am I choosing the wrong? Okay, okay. Let me choose another one. But I know you can actually reduce your payment by creating a particular name for it. This is not a discount. Let me use payment. No, no. Sales tax, withholding tax is going to be 10%. Then the agency, okay, I think this one is correct. The agency is a Federal Inland Revenue Service. Then the name is this. Then we can save it. So how do you use it? After doing it like this, how do you use it? If somebody is paying you rent, a customer, we are entering sales receipt for a customer. Entering sales receipt for a customer. Where is it now? For a customer. Then I'm choosing a particular customer, say AYZ. Then I'm choosing a service that will render for him. This is supposed to be a rent that he paid. But let's say this is a name. But assuming that this is the rent that he paid, then he's supposed to pay us 1 million naira. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 1 million naira. You can see that it's already charging VAT on it. I'm going to remove my VAT. I will say it's out of VAT. Go ahead, no problem. Because I want to use another method to recognize the withholding tax, like you said. Then I'm going to come here and choose withholding tax, which is 10%. I didn't get this, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. Then the last one will be VAT. will be VAT, which is 7.5%. Okay, I think I'm on track. Yes, this is how you are going to do it. So the withholding tax element is this, the VAT element is this. The reason why we choose this one out of VAT from here is to make sure that by the time we choose our withholding tax, the system will not automatically charge VAT for the main amount and as well as the withholding tax. That is why we now try to take our VAT from this level instead of taking it from the VAT here. And if you decide to take only withholding tax here, it's going to charge only withholding tax. So this is how you can actually collect your withholding tax on behalf of federal government. I hope this answered the question. Let me move to the next person, which says, but I'm telling you the case of both of them. The first case I just show you now is the case of both of them. Both of them. But what if you have the case of only one of them? Then I can stay here, then go to my edit and choose delete line. Then in this case, I can as well delete line. Go back again and choose edit, then delete line. Then at this point, if it is any one of them, I can decide to choose only withholding tax, which is 10%, or I can decide to choose only VAT, which is 7.5%. So at this point, it's either of the two. But if you need to do the two of them together, you have to go to out of state, then you take them manually from this place. It will automatically take the 10% of the amount. Then you do the same thing for VAT. It will automatically take the 7.5% of the amount. From there, you can save and close or save and print. I hope this answered the question. So let me take the next question, which is can item be moved from one class to another? Well, in the first place, you are not classing your items, but in actual sense, you can edit anything editable. You can move anything movable. As long as you are the one that saved it in the first place, you can as well open it and make your edition if you have the permission to do that. If you don't have the permission, whosoever has such permission can do it for you. Okay, the next question is, please, how to integrate Fishbowl into QuickBooks Enterprise? Well, I don't know the Fishbowl you are talking about, but if the developer of the Fishbowl gives such provision in their development, of course, you can easily integrate it into QuickBooks accounting package. If it is a local-made application, talk to your developer to please look for QuickBooks SDK and find a way to integrate it for you. If it is a foreign application, you can talk to them through their desk there to give you the privilege to integrate it into QuickBooks application. Then he said, this is a document used to capture goods. I don't understand that. This is a document used to capture goods from.
We was trying to explain the
okay, that you are using to capture goods from supplier. Capturing goods from, okay, now in this sense, you are the one supplying. Yes, of course, your purchase order at the point of you purchasing, can't it serve as your good receipt note? I don't understand. Okay, I understand now. Thank you. I'm sorry. That we are using to capture what we are selling to your as your customer is supplying you. Good receipt note is the book that they give you to tell you what is inside. Whether you can generate that from the QuickBooks. You cannot. The only option you have, the only thing that can serve as that, will definitely show the amount. And inside the good receipt note, I'm not sure they have the portion for amount there. So I will tell you, you cannot. Then the next question says, I am online and I can hear you loud and clear. Please unmute me So that, okay, no, I think I've answered the
Another
question.
person, but the Adeniran guy that I didn't see.
Same person, yes.
Sanusi, unmute him, allow him to talk.
Ma?
I was telling that the host to allow him to talk.
Okay. Okay, what is supposed to be the money you keep before paying vendor? Or what is this? We told him that it's supposed to be the money you keep before. And yes, I've explained that as well. Any other question? We'll see approximately 14 minutes to round up this class. If you have more questions, please throw it and let us look into it together. No other question? Okay, let me look at the chat.
Is raising his hand. I didn't know as in allowed.
I've done that as well. This person asked, you only show withholding VAT. What about withholding tax? I think we have demonstrated that as well. Any other question, please?
I didn't even want to talk. The man that was asking about the GRN. Please, you have been unmuted. Go on.
Okay, go ahead. Somebody is talking.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please, you have to speak loud. My speaker is not loud.
Okay. What I'm saying, when I'm receiving goods from my supplier into my own system.
When you are receiving goods from supplier into your own system. Yes.
Yes. That's what I meant by good received note. That's the document we normally raise.
And now, if you want to use that good received note,
that is my question.
Is that what?
Can the software generate it for me? Just like
generate the good received note for you that you will now give to your customer.
It's my own internal. It's for my own internal use, not to the customer.
No. You can use the good received note to the supplier. You say?
Not to the supplier. It's for my own internal use.
No, the equivalent to that on the system. Are you on the screen?
Yes.
The equivalent to that on your system is to go to receive item and enter bills.
Yes.
Whatever they must have given you as good receipt note, you can use it to key in this information. After keying in this information, you can do few things with it. Number one, you can decide to print it for your own record keeping, even if the lists are 100. Look at this page. This place I am. You can list all the items down, even if they are 50, 100, just keep typing down. It will be going down like that. Now, this information can be kept for your own sake. If you felt that you will receive similar item in the future, you can memorize it. So if you memorize it, it will be easier for you to use next time you want to pick it from the list of memorized items.
Okay.
Memorized items should be around yes. Memorize transaction. You can memorize it and you can reuse it anytime you want to use it again. Please, can we have more questions before we round up by 4 o'clock?
Hello, sir. What about web bill?
Somebody is asking a question here. He said you only explain withholding tax from the receivable, but it's actually from payable. Okay, I will need more explanation on that. Afis, can somebody unmute? Please let me to unmute as Afis. He said, I'm only explaining it from the receivable end. I'm not considering it from the. No, of course now it's like that. From the payable end. Hello, Afis. From the payable end, if the person you are paying the money to is just as you are agent to the government, if they are agent to the government too, you will pay the money to them based on their calculation. It is them that will now decide whether to chop the money and be owing government or whether to pay the money to the government. But they will actually tell you the value of what you are owing them.
That is bad.
That is how it is. Now look at it from this angle. In 2006, 2014, my organization did business with University of Benin. We were given a contract and they charged us withholding tax. The withholding tax, they have already built it into the cost of our home money that they are supposed to pay us. It is none of our business whether they remit it or not. But the value of which they're supposed to remit, they show it to us. So what we do is that we do go to the University of Benin, to the account department section, to go and ask for the withholding tax receipt, because it's an advance payment of CIT. So we need to use it to reduce our liability on CIT. So it is not responsibility to remove that. It is responsibility of the person that you are paying the money to. Then somebody said again, they say, please, which item or transaction are journalized and which do we enter directly? Okay, it's a good question. It depends on you. As far as the application is concerned, the application gives you the privilege to journalize as many as possible transactions. Then it still gives you the privilege to use a normal form to enter it. Now, let me give you the idea. The idea is, if you know that you can easily go back to that transaction, I advise you use the normal form. It's easier to edit. If you know you are a layman, you don't have any knowledge of accounting, I advise you use normal form. The cases whereby you use the journal is actually when you have accounting knowledge and you know what debit and credit is. If you don't have such information, such knowledge, you don't have it, you don't have any reason to use the journalized area of the application. You leave that for your auditor to undo. That's the reason why I said this application is one of the most flexible accounting software I've ever played with in my life. So they give the opportunity to a layman to use the application to the large extent. Do we have more questions, please? We'll still have about 7 minutes to round up this class. If you have another question you think you want to ask me, let me try if I can answer your question. I'll be waiting. Any question? It's as if every other person is tired the way I'm tired. That is why we don't have much questioning this afternoon. Am I correct? Oh my God. Any other question, please? Okay. We have just about 6 minutes to go. In the absence of any other question, I would like to leave and go and do other things as usual. I really thank you for participating and giving me the opportunity to take you what I know. Thank you. Thank you, the coordinators. Thank you, the participants. God bless. Oh, sorry. How much does the license cost? Well, it depends on the one you are going for. If you still want to go for the old one, which is as far back as 2015 edition, you can get it for like 40,000 naira, Nigerian money. If you are going for 2018, just the one I'm using now, you can get it for plus or minus 70, 75. If you are going for 2021, you can get it for approximately, let's say, 90 or thereabout. I think we are done. All I mentioned to you, they are all enterprise edition. If you want to buy it directly from Intuit, it is more expensive. So that is why it is necessary for you to pass through the agents or those people that you know that they can easily get it for you. You can pass through them to get it cheaper. There are some you will get, they are cracked version, you can't update them. I will not advise you to buy this. Buy the one that you can actually update from the internet. So that as much as you have internet and you are using both the most recent version, you can as well download the update for this particular one. And let me inform you that as far as Quickbooks is concerned, they will only support a version for 3 years. After 3 years, that version will not be supported anymore. You will observe one thing, that when I was trying to click on currency download company and I choose download currency, there's information that pop up. You cannot download latest currency rate for this version of QuickBooks anymore. Why is it like that? Because it's more than 3 years. This one was released in 2017 and to be used in 2018. So QuickBooks will support you in 18, 19, 20. After 20, they will not support you anymore. So they are expecting you to go for a newer edition. Notwithstanding, you can get an update by going to your help and look for update QuickBooks Desktop. And from here, if I want to update now, you can see that my own update is automatically on. There are some, the moment you update, it will crash because they are cracked edition. They are not registered with QuickBooks on QuickBooks server. So at that point, you will have issue with your application, with your document, and a few other things like that. So if I decide to update this one now because I have internet, it will update, but because I have, what's it called? It will take time before it finish up. That's why I will not do that. But I can actually get my update by clicking on update. It's already going, but to take my time to finish. So let me close it. Okay, so that's it. Do we have, okay, we have charts.
Yeah, they said if
can you assist to buy the software? Yes, you can talk to me privately. I can guide you on how you can get a copy. Then somebody asked a question. By and large, we are grateful to the resource person. May Allah increase his knowledge, yes, and me, and make this knowledge beneficial for all of us, and me. It's a year now, and year after, I mean, yes, I mean, year after, okay, yes, I mean. We say to you, sir, Jazakumullah khairan too. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Then well done, sir. Can you assist in buying? Please contact me personally on that. Then we have another one. Thank you. Okay, it's all about thank you, thank you. Okay, let me go back to the question and answer whether there's anybody there. Okay, can you give us the list of agents in Nigeria? Well, I will tell you, I don't even have any. What I do if I want to buy is that I have people I contact directly from over there that they do get for me if I need. So I don't really have somebody in Nigeria you can buy from. I only know myself. Sorry. Do QuickBooks have office in Nigeria? Yes, I don't know, maybe they are, but there are some other people like me doing this business and they felt that they can open a site, they have money, they have open site, they have resources that they can play with. The only difference is that most of them, they are not accountants, so they will not be able to give you such detailed information on the uses of the application. That is just the difference. But they will tell you, they will sell to you. I can beat my chest that in Benin that I have been able to solve other people's problem in several occasions. What do I mean by that? Somebody purchased the software from a layman who does not have any knowledge of accounting. Then after they buy it and install it for them, they dump it on their system. The usage becomes useless. So then at that point, they need to call me to come and reconfigure, to come and restructure, put things right, and probably maybe even give them some training on how to use it. So it's like that. It's not everybody that is selling that can actually beat their chest that they can actually give you training on this application. Okay. Can we get the software sellable at the market? Yes. There are some you can get at the market, you can buy, but I have to assure you that in most cases, those ones you get in the market, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes they are not updatable. By the time you try to update, maybe crashing, maybe your data and so on like that. What about renewal? There's nothing like renewal. If you are using a desktop edition, you don't renew anything. You keep using it as long as you live. Then if you are using an online version, you have to renew your subscription every year. Okay, so the next question.
Yeah, so it's renewal cost. Person is asking for renewal cost.
You can come up with practical example so that we can practice. Okay, if you need practice, what you are going to do, go and look for Frank Wood or any other book you think you have that can give us a brief information concerning somebody's account, the opening balances, what happened during the year. We use it as our practicing kit. Please, you that you are asking me the question, provide one for us, then I will be the slave to key in those information for us. Any other question, please? Okay, I think our time is up. And there's another question. Once again, I said to you too, Jazakumullah khairan. Can I go off now?
Yes,
Thank you
very much. We'll take a closing remark from my guy, Madam Ahmed Sanusi, and will give us further information that's relevant.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Sanusi, over to you. Closing remark and vote of thanks.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for bringing us to the end of today's training. We pray Allah make it beneficial for us. And then we also pray Allah continue to increase our resources and knowledge. Inshallah, the program again will continue next week. Tomorrow should be our final day. It is as requested by some participants. That we create a WhatsApp group for people that attend this class. Inshallah, the committee will look into it and then we'll get back to you. But again, the contact of the resource person has been made available to us. We can always reach him for one person or the other. Again, inshallah, the class will be ending next week, Saturday. So we look forward to meeting you all on Saturday next week. Also, as a reminder that our IFRS training continues tomorrow. If you miss day one, you can still register. It's just 7,000 naira. You can still register and then you can attend day 2. Inshallah, the IFRS training continues tomorrow by 9 a.m. And we look forward to seeing you all there. If you have any comments, queries, questions, recommendations, or suggestions, please forward it to our email, mpaan14341434@gmail.com. We pray Allah continue to keep each and every one of us safe. And we look forward to meeting you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. See you same time next week. And for those of you on the IFRS training, final session is tomorrow, I suppose. So join us again tomorrow for those of you on the IFRS training. And to conclude the Quickbooks training, we'll meet next week. Thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much.